Good evening, readers. It's Tilly here from Tilly Shelf, and this is the lovely
Ros from Scully Dandling About the Books.
And we're here for an impromptu March episode of Discussing Drama. So this is the series where we meet up once a month, when we can, to talk about a play that we've both read. And it's March, so it's March Mystery Madness, and there are a set of 7 co-hosts for this event, so we're not going to try and list them, but I will try and put them in the description down below, probably tomorrow. And what are we reading this month, Ros? What have we read for March Mystery Madness?
It's a mystery, so we are reading, here we go,
Agatha
Christie, Witness for the Prosecution.
If you're wondering what on earth we're doing, if you saw that red London bus go behind us, why we're all curled up like this, we're in a cafe in London and we're going to a very exciting event later on, which there will be more news of shortly. But in the meantime, we thought, let's talk about Agatha Christie.
Because why not?
So where are we going to start?
Well, first, I'm going to start by being disappointed that I thought this was going to fit one of the prompts, because I thought it was...
Witness for the prosecution. It should have been 5 words.
And there's no definite articles, so it's only 4, so sorry about that.
Yeah, so we failed.
We failed, but we didn't fail because we chose a really good mystery play to talk about.
Yeah, and it's one that I've always wanted to read this play because I'm a long-term lover of Agatha Christie,
yes,
so
you're
it's
the Agatha
always
Christie
been on
fan.
my list.
Yeah.
And I think I'd like to go and see it as well. Even having, now I've read it, I also want to go and see it, even though I know all of the twists now. And it is a play with a lot of twists, it kind of goes from one twist to the other.
Super twisty.
And we're going to tell you the very first one of the twists, aren't we?
Yeah, yes.
So the first twist, so there's a man who has been accused of murder, and he was with his wife at the time of the murder, so he has a cast iron alibi that he was with his wife. But his wife then becomes the witness for the prosecution, and she is the key witness on whose testimony he is most threatened by.
Absolutely. So it's a courtroom drama.
Yeah.
So the scenes all take place either in his the barrister's office, that's his lawyer, or in court. And courtroom dramas are really work well because it's that closed space.
Yeah, it's really tight. It's quite claustrophobic in a way.
Yeah.
Agatha Christie clearly says in her talk about setting up the play that she thinks it's very, very important that the courtroom scenes are very busy, that they are full of clerks and ushers and so on. So she says don't double these parts if you can manage it, because she wants to have that courtroom sense of everyone is watching, everyone is listening to every word.
That intensity. It's very strongly plotted. I've never read one of her plays before, although I've read quite a lot of her novels, and it was interesting. This was, I think, a short story, and then she converts it into a play, and she did that herself, and it really effectively. I didn't realise what a strong dramatist she was, actually.
Well, I think actually in her novels, you might not realise it so much, but a lot of the key facts are delivered through dialogue already, so she does have quite a lot of experience with using dialogue to deliver dramatic moments
to tell the story, and this definitely has dramatic moments. Now, and one of the things about mysteries was I was watching a video that Steve did where he was talking about a mystery writer's rules for writing mystery novels, as it were. And one of the rules was that the person that ends up being, that you, the reader, should have the opportunity to work out the solution, who the murderer is, and Agatha is quite fair about that, isn't she?
I think she is. I think she gives you a decent opportunity.
And she does in this, and you although there are multiple twists, like the first twist, you kind of is clearly flagged up. You signal that it's going to happen. And twist number 2, there's a kind of about 4 twists, and twist number 2, if you pay attention, it's a surprise, but you could have worked it out. I think.
It's a shock, and it's delivered as a shock.
Yes.
But then you think that makes so much sense. Yeah, and that's the way it should be in
and that because that's what makes it satisfying, doesn't it? Yes, that you can, and also that the person who turns out to be guilty, another of these rules, mustn't be like a character, a stranger, someone, not someone that's brought in at the last minute to to fulfil that role. It should be a character who's been sort of built into the plot.
Yeah.
And again,
And
she delivers on that.
Yeah, and that's another thing that we were mentioning is that there is although there is this huge cast of lots and lots of people in the courtroom scenes, there's a very small cast of people who are really well characterised.
Yeah.
And because she's built up just a couple of people, you can really get to know those people really well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think she does that.
A real Agatha thing is she's very good at the nuances of the English class structure.
Yeah,
you know,
there's very subtle differences between people.
And her audience
would have got that,
and she does that very cleverly. These little kind of like signifiers, as it were,
and not just overall class structure, but very specific class structure in England in the years immediately after the Second World War, like quite a specific time frame where class was changing.
Yeah, it was,
and that's part of the
that's true. You get the very patrician sort of barrister, don't you?
Yeah.
The fact that it's just after the war.
I didn't realise. I didn't mean to put my finger over the top there. Sorry, I was just checking the time.
Don't worry.
We need to crack
on. But I've lost my train of thought completely.
Sorry, I interrupted you. I'll say something completely different. Stage directions. This play, if we're mentioning stage directions, this play had too many, and I just started to tune them out. Some of them are important though, which I then had to go back and start reading them again. But she wants to tell you exactly who walks to the left of whom, like what matters.
Yeah.
And I think she almost does that because she wants to catch you out as a reader as well as the audience. I think so. Yeah. But yeah, some of the stage directions are more important than others.
Yes.
Yeah.
But all round,
a good play.
Yes, it's not kind of like, oh wow, great literature.
Yeah.
But it's it's fun, there's a good read, it's effectively written, you can imagine it being performed. You want to see it performed. It works. Yeah.
My one caveat was I didn't like the ending, the very final elements of the ending. I just I thought they were a little bit.
And that is an interesting point, because when we were talking about Greek drama, we said one of the things there is that all the action really, a lot of the action, dramatic action, happens off stage.
Yeah.
And the action on stage is all around sort of words and people and conflict perhaps, but all verbal. And of course that is also true in this. The
action takes place not only off stage but in the past.
When
the murder happens.
Yeah. Until the final scene when suddenly things happen in front of you, and that is interesting. You reach this point.
That's where things kind of fall apart slightly, and they don't really carry you along
quite so well.
Yeah.
But, well, I think I was carried on, because also there's a thing about justice has to be done in Christie novels generally.
Yeah.
And that's true in this one as well.
I think it all wraps up. I suppose
that's her model. Yeah.
Speaking of wrapping up, we shall wrap up too. Thank you very much for watching, and speak to you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.